A quick note on decals. I've cut them out of the card using a pair of these Tritor scissors, which are specially made to cut the decals out. I mean, you could use any pair of scissors, but these have this sort of special blunt end, which is particularly good for cutting them out. From there, I've dropped the two decals I'm using into some water, which I've just sprayed in there. I haven't used much because well, you don't need much, and they're easy to get out. If you have a big pool of water that you drop these in, you can have trouble fishing them out. And I'm going to use some of this Microsol setting solution. It softens the decals, which makes them sit more flush onto the miniature. So I think these are almost ready to come out. They've been in there 30 seconds to a minute, and just using a big brush to paint a little bit of the material onto the side of these dirigibles. So painted one on there. Get this out of the way so I don't drop it on myself. And then over to the, should have been more prepared, you get a clean brush and I'll lift one of these out. So all I've done is I've picked that up on the flat of the brush and I twist it over. Now it's quite a big one actually, and it's going to be a little bit tricky to rub it off. It's one of the larger ones I've ever used, so it's not very much in view for you there, but you can see basically I've now removed the card backing. If I pick the model up and put it onto my little brass stem, you can see now where it is on the back. So I'm going to, because it's all very wet and moist around there, that's the key thing, don't worry about getting the model wet when you're doing this, because it means it moves around a little bit smoother until you find a decent place for it to go. So I might just move it down a wee bit, but not much. So there it is. The decal is now on the side of the stealth dirigible. Now what I'm going to do now is let that dry, so rather than do anything with that, I shall just let it dry off slowly. In fact, one last adjustment there. So I'll pop that off the stick. See if I can do the second one a little bit more visual on the screen. So here we go again. I'm going to pick it up with the brush on the card backing, place it sort of near where I want it to go on the model, and slide it along. Now I'm trying to look at the screen while this is happening. Now I use my tweezers just to pull the card backing clean of the model. So again, you can see, because it's wet around there, it's already slid around into an unusual position. Obviously I want that neatly lined up on the side. So there we go. Probably just bring it down a little bit. Again, got to wait now until that's dry before I can use the Microsol. I'm just brushing that one down there as well, just to make sure that all the edges are flat and there's no water creating any gaps underneath there. Same applies to this one really. Let me see if I can get the focus a bit further in on this particular model. Here we go. Sorry about that. While I was trying to get that focus working, I'm a little bit more geared up. So again you can see the basically all I've done is done this sort of charcoal grey colour in the background, and also used a light stripe on there. So this little dirigible is almost dry, and I'm going to add the Microsol to it. So the Microsol, obviously I've gone on initially with water, but the Microsol really does set them in place, but it also has the unfortunate effect of sometimes lifting them when you first put it on, so just being careful. Paint a bit on, try and avoid it lifting. So I'm being very, very gentle. I'm also flattening out an area here where I can see a slight crease has formed. See if I can get that in closer again. Here we go. So I'm going to leave that now. I've already done that on the other model, and once dry I'll apply another coat. In fact I do about 2 or 3 coats, but you've got to let it completely dry in between coats. So here they are. I've put a couple more onto these ships. You can see, oh, the magnet's pulling that. It's on the side of that dirigible there. It's got a slight shine to it, but that'll disappear once it's dull coated. I've also put on this deck that goes on to the carrier, you can see that there's one on the back. I've also put some detailing on here with sort of tyre marks from the aircraft taking off and landing. The aircraft, of course, which I haven't finished painting yet, but it's still a work in progress. So it's just a little symbol on the back that I've added here. And what else have I done? There's one on the side of this one, just a simple sort of symbol, Japanese symbol again. Oh, and basically on the side of the funnel. Oh, that's not actually the carrier. Got things muddled up the wrong way around. That's the carrier model, because it doesn't have the extra weaponry down the bows here, as you can see. And that one's just had 2 details on the funnel. Paint job's not actually finished on these yet. I've got to paint all the windows in. I'm going to do some colour detailing on the funnels, and I've got to finish the decking, which has only had its wash coat added on. So just some little tips in terms of the tools. I've used these tri-tool scissors, which are by Hasegawa. You could use traditional scissors, but these are fantastic for the job. A bit expensive. And also these tweezers. You could use traditional tweezers for plucking eyebrows, but these are built very nicely. Again, they're designed to have the end be very subtle as you pick it up. If anything, I'd say decent tweezers is the biggest help for me when I'm doing the decals. So there you go. Still lots more work to do on these. Haven't done those ships on the deck of the carrier yet. Haven't finished the decking areas, haven't done any of the windows, so there's still quite a lot of work to do. Just thought I'd show you putting those decals onto the side of these.